The World's Richest Women, 2022 to 23. How rich are women in 2022? According to a research list of the world's billionaires, 239 women from mining, real estate, banking, pharmaceutical, and other industries made a list this year. Of course, the fact that these women haven't inherited their fortunes indicates that there is value in their work. After all, it's unlikely that the richest women in the world just landed that title without a place. By the time she turns 23, Emilia Wickstead, the world's youngest self-made billionaire, will have inherited a $100 billion inheritance. Gina Rinehart is by far the richest woman in the world, followed by Christy Walton and Alice Walton. But among this extensive list of money-making females, let's find out who made the top 10, the wealthiest heiress and self-made magnates, and what made them billionaires. Number 10. Iris von Bona, Chile, $14.5 billion. Iris von Bona is the queen of Chile's mining industry and the country's richest family matriarch. Most of her income comes from Antofagasta, the copper mining company she inherited from her late husband, Andronico Luksic. She is also in charge of the other big businesses in the Luksic group, such as a bank, a brewery, and a shipping company. Number 9. Gina Rinehart, Australia, $15.5 billion. Gina Rinehart is another person who made a lot of money from mining. Her main business is running an iron ore mining company that her father, Lang Hancock, started. On the other hand, Gina doesn't have the typical heiress story and doesn't want to be called an heiress. She isn't an heiress because she didn't get her father's money, but she did get his problems. Her father, Gina, was left with a business on the verge of going bankrupt, and she was able to save it. Gina was named the world's richest woman in 2012, 20 years after she took over Hancock Prospecting. This year, however, she has to settle for 9th place. She has no plans to stop anytime soon as she continues to grow her business and travel the world in her $80 million private jet. Number 8. Charlene de Carvalho-Heineken, the Netherlands, $15.8 billion. Freddie Heineken, the former CEO of Heineken International and the only heir to the Heineken fortune, died in 2002. When he did, he left his daughter a 25% stake of the company. Even though Charlene was an only child, she wasn't involved in her father's business. She only had one share of the company worth $32. Instead of joining the family company, she got a law degree, married a wealthy man, and relocated to London with her kids. Her husband put Charlene in an impossible position within a week of her father's death, forcing her to make the fateful decision to inherit a 25% stake in Heineken International. She went from living a quiet life in London to being a busy businesswoman, traveling to different places of the world to learn about the empire her father had built so she could be a worthy successor. As the executive director of Heineken International, she is the richest business owner in the Netherlands and has been for years. Number 7. Abigail Johnson, United States, $16.9 billion. Abigail Johnson's birthplace was the Boston area. As one of the top 3 financial services firms in the United States, she went against the grain when she was appointed chairperson of Fidelity Investments. This made her the most powerful woman in the field of finance. But inheriting a fortune with assets worth trillions of dollars is not easy, especially for Abby. She had to break into an industry usually dominated by men and make a name for herself, which she did. Abby's success shows that a woman can do well in a world dominated by men. She also uses her influence to encourage more women to pursue careers in financial management. She does this by encouraging them to join the industry and making her company a welcoming place for women who want a successful career in finance. Number 6. Susanne Klatten, Germany, $19.6 billion. The German-born 56-year-old businesswoman and mother of 3 own more than 19% of BMW, the biggest luxury car maker in the world. BMW also owns the Mini Cooper and Rolls-Royce brands. Susanne, on the other hand, is only the second biggest shareholder. Her brother, Stefan Quandt, owns more than 23% of the company, making him the biggest shareholder. Susanne's success as a business owner is not tied to her family's main business. Over the years, she has focused on making Atlanta AG, a pharmaceutical company started by her grandfather. A world-class company, she is still the only owner and chairman of Atlanta AG, which is said to make $2.5 million a year in sales. Number 5. Laurene Powell Jobs, United States, $20.6 billion. Laurene was always in the shadow of her late husband, Steve Jobs, who liked it that way until he died in 2011 after a long battle with cancer. His sudden death at age 56 left Laurene with a lot of money and attention. She had to take care of this money while grieving for her husband, raising their children on her own, and dealing with the attention she would rather not have. Many people don't know that Laurene has made a name for herself as a philanthropist. Her biggest project is the Emerson Collective, a Silicon Valley, California group whose main goal is to push for social change. The group was started in 2004 and ran quietly. It was so quiet that one of the 10 people she hired in 2010 didn't know who Emerson owned the company. Today, Laurene's net worth may still be mostly based on the money from her late husband's business, but she is also making a name for herself through charitable work. Number 4. Yang Huiyan, China, $22.4 billion. Yang has done a lot this year. She made $2 billion in the first 4 trading days of 2018 and turned 37. For the 6th year in a row, she has been the richest woman in China, since she owns 57% of the company's share and is vice chairman of the real estate development company Country Garden Holdings. The numbers don't come as much of a surprise. Yang's rise to the top of the rich list began in 2007, when her father, Yang Guoqiang, gave her 70% of the company. This made her one of the biggest shareholders and China's richest person at 25. Number 3. Jacqueline Mars, United States, $27 billion. Jacqueline Mars lives a very sweet life as the heiress to Mars Inc., the world's largest candy company. She owns about 1/3 of the business right now, the same amount her brother owns. Mars is also an active philanthropist and the owner of some of the best eventing horses in the United States. He is the heir to the world-famous candy company. Number 2. Heiress Walton, United States, $46.4 billion. Sam Walton's youngest child and only daughter may not be as interested in the family business as her brother Rob and Jim, but that doesn't mean she doesn't make money from it. Alice is a co-manager of Walton Enterprises, one of the family's holding companies that run 50% of Walmart, one of the biggest stores in the world. On the other side, Alice is very interested in art. This is demonstrated by the size of her collection, which is on the order of hundreds of millions of dollars, and the Crystal Bridge Museum of American Art, which she founded and opened in Bentonville, Arkansas in 2011. Number 1. Francoise Bettencourt-Meyers, France, $53.2 billion. Before her mother's death in 2017, when she was named the owner of the $107.5 billion stake in L'Oreal, Francoise was already a big part of managing the family's wealth as the head of their own investment company and the president of the Bettencourt Foundation. It's not easy for her to be like her mother, though. But even though Lillian Bettencourt was the richest woman in the world until the day she died, Francoise is still the richest woman in the world according to this year's list. That's all for today. If you liked the video, click like and tell your friends and family about it. Soon, you'll be able to watch a new video. Keep helping and take care of yourself. Until then.